Hey everybody, this is video 2 for the wood box drawing. So if you go on SketchUp after you already started a drawing and you're logged in to your Google account, you'll see something like this. You'll see the drawings that saved in the past. So this was the first one over here that we did to that video, and then this is this one right here where it says Tool Caddy. That's when I started drawing in the first video. So I'm gonna open it. And then when you open it, obviously you can just continue it. It opens up the workspace. So in this video, I want to show you how to copy the side. I want to show you how to rotate it, and then show you how to put the dimensions on it. So I'll try and make this one short. So the first thing you want to do is once you've finished a 3D object. So this side is, for the purpose of this example, this side is finished. So I want to make it a component. What that's going to do is it's going to make it one piece. Because right now, if you can click on all separate parts of this, and that's a good thing when you want to edit it. If you're not done drawing it, it's good to be able to click on any part of it and to keep editing it. Once you've created something you're happy with and you consider finished, at that point you want to make it a component. So the way you do that is you're going to give 3 clicks with the left mouse button. So put your mouse somewhere on the 3D object, 3 fast clicks with your left mouse button. 1, 2, 3. And you can see what it did. It highlighted every part of that object. Now, it's really important that you only highlight the object you want to make a component. You gotta be careful. Like, see, I have lines here on the bottom, right, from that original 2D triangle, 2D rectangle I drew. So you don't want to accidentally attach any of these lines to your component. So make sure when you do that, only the 3D drawing is highlighted. So once I have that highlighted, I'm going to right click, make component, select make component. Now you can give this a name. I'm just going to call it side. So now this is all one piece now. So if I click on it, the whole thing lights up rather than just like one little face of it or line from it. This is important when you want to start copying it and moving it. So the next thing we want to do is we want to move it. So when you move something, you're going to copy it. Remember, I'm using my scroll wheel on the mouse. I'm holding Shift if I want to get the hand to move this around. If I want to just orbit, I just press the scroll wheel on the mouse without pressing anything on the keyboard. Okay, so we have our component. Let's copy it. We're going to go to the Move tool right here. So it's like the cross of the 4 arrows. So with the piece already highlighted, if it wasn't highlighted, you want to highlight it first. So click on the piece to highlight it. Go to your Move tool over here. Make sure it's the 4 arrow one. And then just hover over it. Don't click anything yet. Now, with hovering over this with the Move tool engaged, what you want to do is you want to press Control on your keyboard. Just press it one time. And we didn't see anything happen, but what did happen, though, is that it made a copy of it. Now that we have a copy, now you can click with your mouse, and you can move it out and try and keep it along these lines. Remember, we put that bottom rectangle there as like reference. If it doesn't snap to it, I got close. I didn't get all the way to the end. So I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to take it to the end. And you can see it snaps to it. So, zooming in, zooming out, changing your view, it's a big thing with 3D drawings. You saw how it just snapped to the line. I couldn't do it while I was zoomed out. When I got it mostly there, I changed my angle, I zoomed in, and then I could bring it right to the line. Okay, so now the only issue is it's facing the wrong way. So we're going to use something similar to the Move tool, but first I want to just give myself like a view from the top. I'll hold down Shift and I'll use my mouse button. All right, that's fine. So we're basically going to look at this piece from the top, and you can see it's facing out the wrong way. So we'll use the Rotate tool and we'll swivel it. So the Rotate tool is also where the Move tool was. So right over here, if you click on the arrow, you can see you have more options. And this one right here is the Rotate tool. So the way this works is you click on it once with the left button on what you want to rotate, and that kind of creates like a axis to rotate on. And then you give a second click somewhere away from that, but still on the same object, just somewhere away from that. Ideally, if you could find the midpoint, that would be great, because then you won't have to move anything afterward, but it doesn't matter. So click somewhere on top here. That's your first click, and you can see it left the marker. I'm just going to move out a little bit. I'm going to click over here, second time. After my second click, I can take the mouse and just rotate it. Okay, so it snaps back to parallel, but you can see it's not aligned on the rectangle anymore. Click one more time, a third click after you rotate it, that disengages the tool. And I'm always in the habit of hitting the space bar after I use a tool like that. This way I get my selection tool back. Okay, so now the last thing I gotta do is I have to move this back into place. If I could have found the exact center, and I'm sure you can if you try hard enough, but it's just easier to do it like this. So just if you use the rotate tool, you're gonna move it. So go back to the move tool. Now if you forgot where that was, you're now seeing the rotate tool. The move tool is part of that sub menu. So click back on the move tool. You might want to zoom in for this. Now, if you grab a corner, it becomes easy to move it. You can click and drag it, and I can drag it right to that corner there. You guys see the reason for drawing that initial 2D rectangle on the YZ axis, on the YZ plane, because I have an outline that I'm working with. It shows me where I need to put everything. Okay, so there's your second side. I'm going to hit the space bar to disengage the move tool. Okay, the last thing I want to show you guys in this video is how to get dimensions. So you're going to have to get dimensions on, I'll have to do at least one side. So I'll do this side. You don't have to do both sides because they're identical. So I'll get dimensions on at least one side. I didn't draw the end pieces yet, but when I do that later in a later video, I'll put dimensions on those too. The dimensions are obviously your plans. Like when you'll print these out and you'll build off of these. So to do dimensions, you're going to select, where is it? Let me just see. Yeah, if you put your mouse over these. Okay, so the tape measure one. It's right under the move tool. You don't want the tape measure one. You want the dimension tool. So by default, you'll be seeing the tape measure icon right underneath the move tool. Click on the arrow, and then you have other options. The one we want is right here, dimensions. So it's this one, the second one down from the top. And with this, it's easy. You just click on the endpoints. So that's the endpoint on the side. Click it once. Go to the other side and make sure you get that endpoint. It might want to stop somewhere else, so you got to be careful of that. Sometimes you could zoom in if you're not sure if you're on the endpoint, and leave it for a second. It should say endpoint. I know it did before. No, it's not saying it. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's saying if you look to the left. Okay, so you want to make sure you're measuring endpoint to endpoint. So give it a second click, and then just drag your mouse out. You can kind of drag these where you want. You just want to get it away. So you can see I got 1 foot 4 inches. So you put these where you want, and then you click it, and then it deactivates the tool. So there's my dimension. So that's 1 foot 4 inches. Now you gotta be careful because I need the total height of this, right? I can't get that anymore from this point up to here because I put this scallop in it, right? Like I routed this scallop in it just to make it ornate, to make it fancy. So I have to choose a line that still has the original dimension. So like this inner line here, right, by the joint. So from here to here, I'll be able to get the correct dimension. You need the correct dimensions, obviously, because when you start cutting wood, that's what you're cutting to. So I'll click on the dimension tool again. I'll choose that point, and then I'll choose that point, bring it out 4 inches. All right, so now I have my height and my length. As far as the width, you're building on 3/4. You might want to indicate that, but we'll just see. You see, so I can, because of the joint here and because of the scallop here, I can't get my 3/4 dimension from anywhere around this view, right? Because I really need. Well, actually, yeah, you really want endpoint to endpoint. So like I can't go from here to here. That's not going to be 3/4. And you should have this dimension too because it's going to, if this was a set of plans, it would be showing someone what thickness of wood to use. So if I grab from here over to here on the end of the wood, I should get the right dimensions. So let me do that. So I'll start here. I'll bring it straight over. You can see it's 3/4. That's correct. I'll click there. Whoops. Looks like I might not want to find the point. That's the only issue. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it doesn't want to just go to the end of the line, but if you take it there And then even before you click, if you drag up and get to the endpoint there we go. Whoops. I don't know why it doesn't want, I'm getting the right measurement. It doesn't want to disengage. So it's kind of weird. If you don't get this dimension, it's not the biggest deal. You guys can mess with that if you want. I don't want to take time trying to do it. There's always a way, but you can even get the dimension before you cut the joints. But we know we're working with that thickness wood. All right, so there's your dimensions, guys. Stay tuned for the next video. I'll draw the end caps.